All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show, where your hosts, Ben and Ethan, discuss tech news at bedtime. I got it right this time, so no Freudian slips there. We want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We've got a great show for you. To start off with, we're going to talk about the new rumored iPhone 15 and what they have in store for us. I mean, I guess, we just got new iPhones. It's time to get a new one anyway, so might as well talk about some of the leaks that they've got here. So it looks like the iPhone 15 Pro is rumored to feature a Thunderbolt port with significant over Lightning. So not only are they going to be adopting the USB-C port, but they are going to have it Thunderbolt enabled to offer theoretically up to over 20 gigabytes per second. I mean, even if it was just the USB 3.2 support, that would have 20 gigabits. But with Thunderbolt 3 or Thunderbolt 4, you could get up to 40 gigabits per second of data transfer speeds, which is a significant upgrade over the USB 2 speeds that is currently with the Lightning port on the iPhone 15. I think this brings some interesting features and definitely think it's a good step in the right direction if it is going to be true. What do you
Yeah, I
think,
agree.
Chris?
Yeah, I like the USB-C port aspect. Obviously, we talked about that before. Um, that comes with like the EU and their laws being changed. I don't know much about I don't know much about like the difference between, Thunderbolt and Lightning Bolt. I don't know those terminologies very well. And so hard for me to say one thing or the other, but it sounds like based on just the statistics there, the numbers, that the Thunderbolt's going to be significantly faster. Although I will say, I feel like the naming convention should be flipped. I feel like Lightning Bolt and Thunderbolt. I mean, are those synonymous? A lightning bolt and a thunderbolt?
It is technically a lightning bolt because thunder is sound and
Yes.
light lightning is light.
Yeah. And I would assume like shouldn't lightning just be faster since it's light? So
They should. You'll have to blame Intel for that because Thunderbolt is their trademark and their technology that they have.
got it. Got it. Okay. So there
Yeah,
we
it kind
go.
of stems back to like I think 2015 MacBook Pros where they had Thunderbolt 2 ports. MacBooks were like one of the few computers to actually have support for that. And it was specifically to Intel. They have that licensed technology. And in order to have that Thunderbolt symbol, you have to meet their certifications for it.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
and so now that we've gone into the USB-C port design, they've created Thunderbolt 3 and Thunderbolt 4 now that use that same port. However, have the Thunderbolt allows access to more PCI lanes. So you have the ability to transfer data faster.
Much faster. Yeah.
Yes.
40 gigabits per second.
So, I mean,
That's a lot.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, now that these iPhones have the ability to have access ProRes footage and have 48 megapixel sensors, it makes sense to have a port that allows that to transfer off. Because as of right now, we have that ProRes technology. Being able to get it off the iPhone is not practical with the Lightning port and USB 2.0 speeds.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's kind of cool though. I think that's really interesting. And I mean, yeah, like you said, it only makes sense. But it's pretty cool to see that they're already innovating on how they can put this USB-C technology in the iPhone and what that's going to look like, and all the aspects to it. So I'm sure the rest of the phone isn't fully baked out yet, obviously. But yeah, it's kind of cool to hear like these starting rumors of what's to come.
Yeah,
So
kind of interesting that we're already getting rumors like this so early into the iPhone 14 cycle. Usually rumors don't start coming till about like March
yeah,
time the following year.
yeah. It's like I'm barely seeing people even with an iPhone 14 or
Yeah.
Pro. So
So this will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what continues to leak and what the future has for the iPhone. Hope the innovation will actually start to ramp up instead of being stagnant, which we've talked about. Kind of feel that Apple is a little bit in a rut in their innovation
yeah,
in R&D department.
yeah, for sure.
All righty. Looks like we've got some more news on Twitter and some of the toils and trials that are going on with Twitter.
Wild stuff here, dude.
Yeah, wild stuff here. So looks like there's more resignations to Royal Twitter as Elon tries to persuade some workers to stay. So there were an exodus of thousands of employees at the company, and internal turmoil still raging, and there's a lot of questions on how well the site will be able to hold up. So Elon Musk gave Twitter employees a deadline to decide whether to stay or leave their jobs, and the social media company has appeared to be in disarray. And Elon Musk and his advisors have held meetings with some Twitter workers whom they have deemed critical and attempting to stop them from leaving. 4 people. He said that he sent confusing messages to the company's remote worker policy and appearing to be softening his stance on not allowing people to work from home, which is a little interesting. Seems like he's backpedaling a little bit here. And also heard reports that the whole finance department has resigned, as well as the person in charge of badge access. So people have not been able to access the building, and it seems like there's just a lot going on at Twitter right now.
Yeah. So crazy. So crazy. I also heard that there's not tons, but a lot of bugs are becoming more and more prevalent on Twitter because they're not being resolved by the data team. Like the engineering team or the data scientists. Yeah, so I just hear that there's a lot of issues and bugs with Twitter, and it's just growing worse and worse because there's no one there to fix it.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the finance team though. That's a blow, especially given the situation of a takeover. Like there's a lot of finances to be worked out.
Yes.
Year end is coming up, and so they're going to like file, and oh my gosh, that's just a headache. I'm a former auditor. I know this whole process. Like I know what's going to happen January, February, March, and that's just an absolute headache. Wow, I cannot believe that. That's crazy. But at the same time, I think it goes to show what kind of approach someone has to take when they're new to either a company or a group or someone or just any kind of program where you're the new leader in town, right? You're the new guy that shows up and you're the new leader. How are you going to approach everyone? How are you going to earn everyone's trust? How are you going to, kind of keep the reins and make sure everyone is still invested in the work that's being done? And here at Twitter, it seems like Elon came in too hot and heavy, and people didn't like it, and they're just quitting. I actually, honestly, I think they're quitting because it's an easy out. He's
Yeah.
giving 3 months pay severance.
3 months
so it's
pay.
Like,
that's a win-win for anyone that wants to leave. I mean, now it might be questionable about whether now is a good time to leave in our current economy, with kind of companies now scaling back on their hiring and a lot of layoffs coming on. But still, 3 months pay, that's a win for someone who wants to leave, for sure.
Yeah, if a new guy's coming to town, he's going to change the company that I'm working at, and I know he's going to change it because he's been preaching about the changes he's doing, and I don't like those changes, then I'm already thinking about quitting. And then he's like, oh, if you quit by this deadline, if you decide to leave, I'll give you 3 months pay. I'm like, yeah, buddy, pay up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay here until the last day for the last deadline, and then we get my 3 months pay. I'm gonna have December off. I'm gonna go on my trip for holidays. I'm not worried about a thing. January rolls around, I'll start working on trying to get a job,
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
and
plenty
even
of
then
time.
it's like kind of like no stress because it's like I've got some savings, I've got the severance pay, I've got 2 months that I can kind of float. So crazy, man.
Yeah. I, it's interesting. It seems like over 50% of the workforce is now gone. They really only have about a third of trying to handle this major web service and ads that they support. And it's going to be really tough. I mean, I guess when Musk said that everybody's going to need to be working the hardest that they have ever worked before, I guess firing over half of your staff, that's going to make it happen.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you've seen, but there's multiple Instagram and TikTok videos of like a day in the life of a Twitter employee.
Oh, I
And
haven't.
it's ridiculous. It's like I walk into my job, I grab my cup of coffee and my croissant, I have a nice breakfast. I then go to my meditation room, and then I go have a couple meetings with my team. Then I find a nice spot before lunch to do my yoga or whatever it is. And like in my mind, I'm like, you had like 2 meetings. Like I'm I'm in, I'll have meetings in the morning, and then I've got stuff to do for those meetings. Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing yoga. I'll do my lunch break. That's my lunch break. Like I got stuff to do. So a part of me is like, yeah, there's a lot of people leaving, but I think the biggest issue right now, maybe not necessarily be work being done, it's knowledge transfer. In my
Yes.
opinion, that's the most crucial thing that he's losing out on, because he's having these people leave who know processes, they
Mhm.
know systems, they know the ins and outs of what's happening in certain programs in the company, and they're leaving without any knowledge transfer, you know. And I was part of an acquisition last year, and I stayed on. And I've seen the effects this last year of people who were frustrated with new ownership and just left without any knowledge transfer. And it's difficult to move forward. We have the resources to get things done,
Mhm.
but we just don't know. We haven't, there's certain aspects that we didn't know what to do because we're like, wait, what was going on here? How was this created? Where's the data backing it, or whatever it might be? We don't have the knowledge transfer. Um, so I wonder if that's, I would assume it's more the knowledge transfer than it is like the calories of things to be worked. I also wonder how he's going to reward those who stayed.
Yeah, those are interesting points. Yeah, that knowledge transfer I think is a huge thing. I've seen that a lot in my current role. We've just gone through a major acquisition as well, and there's been the majority of people that are within my company have been there since Noah landed the Ark. I mean, they've been there pretty much since the company was founded. They've been there for 20, 30 years plus. And so they have all of that knowledge. However, there's been a lot of new hires come in, and being able to tap into that knowledge and know where that knowledge is hard because we don't have like anything just all a place that somebody could access. You have to go to the person to access that knowledge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that knowledge transfer and being able to have that codified into a place where somebody can access is key to the longevity of a business. Because if everyone just decides to up and quit, then you have nothing there to essentially steer the ship and continue to move forward and innovate.
Yeah.
Makes it significantly harder. But yeah, that piece of rewarding people that stay, that that's huge. I mean, you can kind of see that in our economy now where, you know, in previous generations, people really worked just for survival. Now people are working for a higher quality of life. And if that quality of life isn't there at their current workplace, they're just going to up and find another job. And so
Yeah.
if the company is not focused on retention and really trying to cater to the needs of their workforce and really invest in their workforce, people are going to leave. They're going to find new jobs. And if Twitter isn't doing anything to incentivize that retention effort, it could potentially get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And if I was a Twitter employee and I knew my job was critical, like it said that Elon had met with individuals who were critical in moving forward, right? If I was on the data side of like the coding of Twitter and I was part of the crucial team that did it, and I saw my team was just leaving in droves, right? If I saw that, I'd be like, this is actually giving me more and more leverage to have conversations with leadership at Twitter to bump me up in a role, bump me up with pay, because we got 5 guys that just left the team. That knowledge is gone, but that's 5 salaries gone.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 2 of those salaries, add it to mine, and I'll stay and give you knowledge transfer. And if you don't, then all right, I'm leaving too. And I'm not going to give you a piece of my mind. Like literally, I'm not going to give you any of my knowledge.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like if you're smart about and I know this a little bit from personal experience, there's so much emotion when the acquisition happened. I see this happening with Twitter. There's so much emotion behind it that people are like, screw this. I'm not working in the office. I hate where it's going. Forget about it. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. And for me, my approach was like, I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm not going to let the emotions get ahead of me in my company's acquisition. I'm like, I'm going to see what plays out here, because if there's an opportunity for me to move up and to get a bigger pay bump, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to negotiate my way, because they got to need some people to continue on.
Right.
And they need some people to continue on and take on, this challenge of transferring everything and getting in the flow of like this new acquisition. And if a Twitter employee is smart enough to realize this and understand their value, if they're in a critical role, then by all means, my recommendation is calm down, look at it from your own personal gain perspective, swallow the pride pill for a little bit, and recognize, okay, if I go to the office every day, I will get a 2x, 3x pay bump, and I'll get a better title. And I know that I have security in my job because I'm critical in order for this to continue moving forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's just so many aspects of this. Do you think Twitter's going to fail?
Ooh. I think Twitter is big enough and necessary so much that it's going to be really hard to fail. I don't think it's going to. It's going to be, I think it's going to be very rocky. It's not going in a great direction now. However, I think there is still a potential for recovery and potential to become better. I think, Elon Musk has proven with his other projects that he is running that he can pull it out of a place that is pretty much in the verge of despair and bankruptcy and bring it into a place that is significantly better than it ever has been. And while I think there is a lot of emotion with this and things aren't going well, I think it will recover eventually. How long that'll take, I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on this?
I actually agree with you. I don't think it'll fail. I think there's a very solid attempt from angry employees to try and drive this to the ground. I don't think it'll happen. It's going to be very difficult for everyone working there. It's going to be difficult for all the leadership. But there's a whole pool of people they can hire from Amazon, Google, Meta, that all just got laid off.
Yeah, there's like, so much potential.
Yeah, it's like, we lost all these people, but let's bring in all those people from the other tech companies that do support Elon's mission. Let's give them opportunities and be like, hey, come work for me. Like, I'll hire you. You just got laid off. I'll hire you. You work for Amazon data. I'll hire you. Meta, whatever. Tech. and ideally you support the vision that Elon has, like I'll hire you. Come on.
Yeah.
So
And they're already in San Francisco anyway.
exactly, dude. They're there. Like it's not like they're like location based, they're the same location. So in my opinion, like I do think the next 6 to 12 months is gonna be really difficult for Twitter, but I agree with you. I don't think it's gonna fail. Um, and honestly, Elon's not a perfect person by any means. And there's a lot of like kind of sketchy stuff with how he handles stuff with Tesla and
Oh yeah,
SpaceX
for
and
sure.
any all the aggressiveness, and also overseas with child labor, things like that, which we won't get into right now because it's not relevant in the scope of this conversation. But if the point I'm making is he's not a perfect person, but if there's anyone who is a visionary, like is visionary enough and who takes the action like to be able to pull this out of the mud, it's Elon.
Yeah.
This guy freaking he's innovated the entire world. Legitimately. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
EVs are where they are because of him. There's
Yeah.
no denying that. No denying it. Space industry, space travel is legitimately a conversation nowadays because of him. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be. It wouldn't be if without it. It'd be NASA doing their same old NASA stuff, launching test satellites, launching probes to other planets. But there's actual potential in the next few decades for us to do interplanetary travel.
Yeah.
And that's because of him. Literally globe world changing innovation. So if anyone can do it, it's this guy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's done it before with his projects like we've talked about. So potentially he has the tools to do this now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope it gets better. And it's really, I'm just interested in all the stories that keep coming up with this. There's always some good stories every week about Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I love to just I want to get access to just like internal threads,
Oh,
I just want to get
that
like
would be
all the
awesome.
juicy stuff.
You know,
Uh,
you think working in HR for Twitter, that would be
oh,
really, you would get so much. Because I've worked in HR, and just all the drama and personal stuff that comes up, it like it feeds you, and it's like, wow, this is really cool. And as stupid as this is, it it's really interesting, and I love just hearing all that garbage and gossip of
yeah,
a
it's kind of like
company.
real life Bachelor,
Yes.
like all the drama, internal employee drama.
Yeah. I like that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, it's like
HR is just the bachelor.
yeah, it's like they're like the camera crew, they get all the information, all the gossip, what's going on between different employees and stuff, and it's like this is trash. This is hot garbage.
Yes.
But it's so interesting and entertaining and like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's like,
Can't look away.
yeah, yeah. I've never been in HR, but like even for someone like me, I hear rumors, and some of the rumors I hear, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like deals going down because people are in bed, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
wild stuff.
Yeah. Being
So
legal counsel for HR is like the best, because when HR comes to you, that's like the really hot stuff that's like, okay, this is about to get to litigation. What are we gonna do here? And I
you're
was
like,
always,
oh, this is serious stuff.
yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, let's tell them to sue us. Just bring it on. I'm ready for a lawsuit here. I'm ready to throw the
Wow,
book at them.
that's crazy.
So
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
yeah, interesting stuff for sure. Um, looks like, speaking of EVs, looks like Google is going to be adding custom some EV fast charger results to their search routes
That's really
on
nice.
Google Maps. For me, I think Google Maps is one of the most underrated apps on a phone. however underrated, something extremely necessary and that I use all of the time. So
Yeah,
with
I
this,
agree.
they're gonna allow the option for routing through um, high powered chargers for EVs to allow you to get to your destination without having any issues and being able to charge there and getting rid of that dreaded range anxiety that comes in the world of EVs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of about time, honestly. Um, I'm not gonna say I'm surprised it hasn't come sooner, but this is expected. It's a massive, massive win for the EV consumers. Yeah, I don't have an EV, so it doesn't impact me directly. But if I did, I definitely would have that range anxiety, especially on longer trips. And that's just really nice to just have it pop up, on your route. And I don't know, for right now with an as an EV owner, when you Google like supercharger, does it pop up or
So, since I have a Tesla, I generally use the navigation built into the Tesla because that automatically routes me through superchargers on there.
yeah,
Where I am going to be getting a Rivian, from what I've read so far, that Rivian's app navigation isn't the greatest. And since they won't be using Tesla superchargers, I'll have to utilize like EV Go or charge point chargers to do any long extended trips with that. This is probably going to um, serve my needs a lot better with that, since Rivian won't have the greatest, or as of right now, doesn't have the greatest trip planning function for it. And so usually with that, I've heard that a lot of EV users use the app, a better or better range, a better trip planner, which allows you to not only utilize Tesla superchargers, but gives you route with other chargers for it, and kind of gives you how long you need to be at those chargers and how long it will take you to get to your destination. So I think of this kind of adopting a lot of those things and just utilizing the great API and the great UI and UX that Google Maps already has.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree. And I agree with your initial statement that Google Maps is one of the most underrated apps out there. Um, I think of like trying to navigate as a kid. My dad, when I was really young, I still remember this. My dad was just always constantly telling me, you need to remember street names. You have to remember street names because that's how you navigate the world, street names. And so like everywhere I went, I was like, all right, Forest Cove Lane, Hempstead Street, like Thousand Oaks Boulevard, these are like streets where I grew up, Sunnyside Lane. If you Google these, you'll know exactly where I live. That's
Yes.
just like where I grew up. I just remembered all of them. And so anytime anyone asked me, I was like, oh yeah, I get to this place, you turn left on Reyes Adobe, then you go down to Teal Boulevard, then you make a right. But if I want to go anywhere outside my town, I had to use a map.
Yeah.
You pull it out and you're like, all right, I'm 2 inches away from downtown LA and I gotta take the 5 down to the 405 and it's like,
And there's always a special way to fold that map, because if you fold
yeah.
it wrong, that's the end of the
Oof,
world.
ooh, good luck.
Yes.
And then Maps Quest came out and you
Oh
had to
yeah.
print off your directions. And
That
so
that
you're
was
like,
like a
all right.
huge deal.
Yeah, Maps Quest was massive, massive innovation. You like
Yeah.
every map is digitized and on the internet. That just blows my mind. Because you're like driving your friend's house and you're like, oh, what? What does it say? What does it say? Oh, left right here. Yeah. Anyway, that was my maps driving impersonation.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think Google Maps has really innovated the way that we get around the world, making it super easy, barely an inconvenience to get from one place to another.
it is, and it also finds the fastest route too.
Yes. And
My
gives you
kids,
multiple options.
yeah, yeah, and Waze too. Like Waze,
Yeah.
the other app, just another innovation on top of it. Like auditing traffic and different areas where there's a police car or a construction zone or a hazard, and all that stuff is just yeah, it blows my mind. It's crazy how we just take technology for granted
Oh
and
yeah.
don't recognize how much of a blessing it is in our lives. And man, if there's ever any kind of worldwide electronic explosion, EMP, lights out, my kids are done. They're absolutely done. You know, I can handle myself. I think I can handle myself. I'm an Eagle Scout. Uh, my wife, nope, she can't handle herself. My kids, definitely not. Done. Done.
Y-
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It would definitely be really hard. I would, I could handle myself, but I wouldn't like it. So, right,
yeah.
technology makes everything so much more convenient. And I've gotten to the point where I heavily rely on technology to make my life easier,
Oh yeah.
more
Why
often than
not
not.
too? It's
Yeah.
there. Take advantage of the convenience of it, you know. You might as well. It's just kind of, if you're not taking advantage of it, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
So
Totally agree. So, speaking of EVs, looks like Toyota is finally getting onto the
about freaking time,
EV
Toyota.
game. So,
Holy
I've
crap.
got this really salty article from Electric. Toyota
Cool.
shows a second EV prototype touting itself as a leader in electrification with beyond zero EV sales. So, right now, Toyota has only sold approximately 237 or so EVs, and they're touting to be a leader in EV sales here.
What even is their EV that they're selling? The Leaf? Is it the
No,
Leaf?
that's Nissan.
Oh, that Nissan's the Leaf. No, doesn't Toyota have their version? Oh, I mean, they have the Prius, but that's not even fully electric.
Yeah, that's a hybrid. So Beyond Zero is their second second generation of, or their second EV that they're selling, and they've had little to show in terms of their EV sales.
Didn't they
It,
have a hydrogen vehicle called the Mirage?
that's a good question. I'm not sure whether they
I
have.
swear, I
That
swear
sounds about right.
they entered the hydrogen vehicle game.
Yeah, that was kind of like, I think that was like their main reason for not getting into EVs, because they were the forefront on that hydrogen technology that didn't really go anywhere.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. And it's not the Mirage. It's the Mirai.
Ah,
And oh wait. Oh, the Mirage is like a really old van, like a camper van.
oh god.
The Mirai, okay, the Mirai. This is let's see here. It says fuel cell.
Oh, gotcha.
Uh I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's gas. Hold on. Does the Mirai run on water? Mirai runs on hydrogen, and its only byproduct is water. So the Mirai is a yeah,
Okay.
hydrogen-based vehicle. But I heard it didn't do well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm taking away from the story.
No, you're
Back to
good.
EV of Toyota. I have a lot to say about this actually, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, they they're touting that they're a leader in technology for over 20 years, and they've struggled to shift to these pure electric models. They released their first pure EV, the BZ4X, earlier this year, and unfortunately, the rollout has been disappointing.
What a BZ.
And
What a
yeah,
BZ.
and Toyota has recalled all EV models
Ooh.
sold over concerns the wheel can detach from the vehicle.
Ooh.
I mean, just think of that. You're driving along, wheel detaches, donezo.
Yep.
I mean, to their credit, that's not really an EV technology concern. That's more of a manufacturing issue.
Yeah.
And where they've only had 237, that's not a huge amount of recalls anyway. However, just the fact that it's all EV models and that the wheel can detach from the vehicle. That's just bananas.
Yep, that is. I mean, like some people like the aspect of detaching their steering wheel, like Japanese cars. A lot of like, I shouldn't say necessarily Japanese, but primarily Japanese, and a lot of import vehicles, like people that love to do, they like to trick out the Japanese import car.
Mhm.
They'll have the steering wheel attachment, detachment. It's just kind of a thing that people like, but it's not a standard thing, right?
Right.
This is not on purpose. This is on accident. This is a defect. I think, I don't know if I discussed it with you or not. Maybe we discussed it in the past, but someone made a good point to me, and it's been in my mind ever since. Why was Toyota? Why is Toyota behind in the EV market? They came out with a Prius,
Right.
like a hybrid. Excuse me. I'm like getting so excited that my saliva is just coming out. Sorry, sometimes I get too excited. But my question is like, what they came out with a Prius, a hybrid from like early 2000s,
Mhm.
and then no innovation on
No.
electronic vehicles, on EVs. It's like, how does that happen? 2 decades, and you don't do anything with that? You're just like, you know what? Prius is pretty good. I think we got ourselves a good, nice market here. Let's capitalize on it for 2 decades and not innovate on anything. And guess what? Now you're freaking behind, Toyota. Way
Yeah,
behind.
way behind. I mean, you've got Ford, GM, and
Pretty
even
much everyone.
pretty much everyone.
Lexus,
Yeah.
you got Nissan, uh, yeah, pretty much everyone's pumping out electric vehicles, like Hyundai and shoot, what's the other one?
Kia.
Yeah, yeah. Who does the EVs? The EV6, is that Hyundai?
I know.
I think it's anyway.
Maybe.
There's like multiple manufacturers, and many of them are only going electric in the
Yeah.
future.
So it's really sad because I mean, yeah, to your point,
Oh,
they
Kia. You said Kia, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Kia. They're planning on going all electric.
Uh-huh.
Like in the next 5 to 10 years, they're not doing any gas vehicles, all electric.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, Toyota was the leader in hybrids with the Prius. That was such a popular vehicle.
oh
I
yeah,
remember people saying, "Oh, it's the best thing. They love their Prius." And the whole time I was thinking, you've got the worst of both worlds. You've got the worst of a gas vehicle and the worst of an electric vehicle in two. And so you've got just those problems with both of them compounding just because it's a hybrid,
yeah,
which,
and
which
it's
is one of the reasons.
ugly.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I've never gone with a hybrid. Because I mean, you've got all the negatives with the gas vehicle. That I mean, while there's a lot of positives, you have those negatives, and then if you compound those with the negatives of electric vehicles, that that's just more work than I want to deal with. I mean, electric vehicles, they already have their own problems that I have to deal with. And as much as I hate those problems, more compounding to that, it would just be a deal breaker to me for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really interesting. They were such this leader in innovation for that technology and then never went forward. It's like they almost felt that EVs weren't worth their time and didn't want to do the research. And then Tesla comes along and builds the Roadster, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah,
So
I think Toyota, we've seen this before where companies, they do something so well, and then over time they don't make any changes because they own that market share, and they
yeah.
think they're fine, and they don't think anything is going to change. And and then other companies start to innovate, and then they lose out on market share, they lose out on opportunity, and then they're behind the curve when it comes to progression, innovation, competition,
Mhm.
etc. And I think Toyota, because they had such a ownership over the hybrids, and they have a massive loyalty on their other vehicles, like the trucks, Toyota trucks, Toyota sedans, their 4Runner, like there's massive loyalty there. So I'm sure Toyota's just like, let's put our efforts to where we have ownership. The
Right.
problem is now that all of these gas vehicles are being pushed out, right? They're becoming less and less and less in demand. And EVs are becoming more and more and more demand. Now they're behind the curve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's innovate or die. It's just that phrase
Yeah.
back again, innovate or die. And I'm not saying Toyota's going to die, but I'm just saying they're losing out.
Yeah.
They're
They missed
losing
on a
out.
huge opportunity.
Massive. And they could have been ahead of the curve. They could have been there. They could
Yeah.
have been a leader, a forefront of it, and they weren't.
Yeah. Especially with the 4Runner. The 4Runner is an extremely popular vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
One of the few vehicles that continue to appreciate in value longer time goes on. And if that were to be an electric vehicle, they'd be tapping into a market that I would even go for. I mean, because I love the look of the 4Runner. I love the capabilities of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if that were had the option of an electric, I would totally be on top of that.
Yeah, same. Electric 4Runner sounds so fun. That sounds
Yeah.
so fun. That's kind of what Rivian's doing right now. They have their SUV coming out,
Yeah.
and it's an off-road adventure SUV that's electric. That to me, that sounds so fun. It sounds like so many capabilities, and I love that idea. And Toyota could have been there. They could have been doing it.
Yeah. I know my wife is super excited and stoked for whenever ours comes in 9,000 years when it finally gets delivered. So yeah, she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go like off-roading. We're gonna go on so many camping trips." I'm like, "Great, I'm up for it. We'll have this awesome vehicle to go do that."
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
yeah, huge bummer that they missed out on this.
Yeah.
But Toyota, they're still a major player in the manufacturing of vehicles, and their manufacturing process is to a high standard that as you said, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. They'll still be here. They're not going to be like Panasonic with plasma TVs that they were so good, and then Panasonic has never made anything since then.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like Kodak
Yes.
film. Yeah. Like Fujifilm.
Yes.
Yeah. With like digitized industry. So
yeah, I think they'll be okay here.
what's the other thing too? This isn't necessarily Toyota, but just a quick question. Maybe you don't agree with this. I feel as though not all, the majority of new EV vehicles, that's redundant, isn't EV electric vehicles?
Yes, it is.
So the majority of new EVs, they all have the similar body type, this like curved crossover
Yes.
body type, and I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of sick of it.
I am too.
Hyundai has the Ionic.
I couldn't find curves cross.
Ionic 5 or Ionic 6. Kia has their EV6. The Ford Mustang crossover.
Yeah.
Tesla's, Model Y.
X and Model Y.
Yeah, and now we have this Toyota, which looks very similar to it. They're all like this curved crossover look, and
Yeah.
I want more variety. I want a different design. I want a 4Runner shape, or like a nice sleek sedan, or I don't know, something new.
Yeah, that's why I'm really excited for the Rivian, because it has that kind of Range Rover-esque look to it.
It does.
And it's not curved like a crossover. It's an actual SUV. And it's like the huge appeal for us and wanting to get that and get out of Tesla, because Teslas, they look very similar. While I think the design is good, to me it's dated, and there needs to be an innovation in that design to look a little bit better.
Be more unique.
Yeah. I guess that's what the Cybertruck.
Yeah, the Cybertruck. That's
a little too much for me.
That's literally out of this world design. That's like an alien spaceship design.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The Hummer EV is so sick. That is, if I had money to drop on an EV, that's the one I'm going for.
Yes, that is pretty sick. I mean, the only way I've been able to test drive that is just playing it with it on Warzone. But so that's my only experience with the EV Hummer.
Nice. Same.
All right, should we get into Tay and Ticketmaster?
Yes. Good old
All
Tay
right,
Tay.
good old Tay. So Ticketmaster expected only 1.5 million Taylor Swift fans on the site, but 14 million people were trying to get tickets to her tour that was coming up. So,
Dude. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
That is crazy.
I mean, that's not even close to how many people tried to get tickets.
Bro.
So, Ticketmaster's pre-sale for Taylor Swift's Eras Tour on Tuesday was only supposed to be open to 1.5 million. 14 million people tried to buy tickets on that day. Despite all the challenges and breakdowns, they did sell over 2 million that day, and they could have filled 900 stadiums.
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Taylor, I did not realize this. Taylor Swift's her market value, in my opinion, probably skyrocketed after that. That's
Yeah.
just incredible. Congratulations to her. I mean, if you need an ego boost, that's it, Taylor. Holy crap.
Yeah. It is amazing what she has done with her career and how popular and relevant she has stayed as she has continued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like usually you'll see artists kind of peak and then um just kind of fall away and never hear about it. But
Yeah.
I think with this, I mean, this is proof that what she's doing is really working for her fans and her fans really care.
Yeah. I feel like it sounds like her fans are growing,
Yeah.
it's not staying stagnant.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting here, Ticketmaster really owns the monopoly of ticket sales, and it it makes it I think it makes it a little bit harder for artists. I mean, in this case, if they don't have the bandwidth or the capacity, then what else is an artist able to do other than make their own type of ticket
Yeah.
forum for
Yeah.
events?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah, if I was Taylor and I saw this, if I knew myself and I knew that I could if I knew I could perform on more nights than what I signed up for to perform and what Ticketmaster and my tour was selling for. If I knew I could perform more and I see this, I think to myself, why are we not selling more? Like
Right.
why are we not doing more? Because that doesn't make sense. And yeah, it'll be interesting. You make a very good point because artists have done this in the past um with other platforms such as streaming platforms, right?
Yeah.
Because they either are not being treated fairly or they're not getting the money they think they deserve, and so they create their own streaming platform. Um, Beyonce, Jay-Z, for example. Um, and even though that platform kind of failed, but
Yes. Nevertheless, they
people aren't
tried.
afraid. They're not afraid to take things into their own hands.
Yeah.
Um, so and it sounds like Taylor's got enough sway and pull to make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, with how with like these stats, theoretically, she would have the capacity and capital to be able to start something and be successful with that.
Dude,
Um,
900 million if one person paid $1. Wait, was it 900? No, sorry, I'm getting that wrong. 900 stadiums and it was
yeah.
14 million.
Yeah.
14
14
million
million
people wanted
people
tickets.
wanted to buy tickets.
Dude, that's crazy.
And I'm pretty sure I know like her tickets, they're not cheap. They're probably at least the 100 to 200.
Yeah,
mark for
they are.
it. So,
My wife saw Taylor Swift in concert right before she had our second son in 2018. And her best friend paid for the tickets. Well, her best friend's husband paid for the tickets. And they were not cheap. They were more than just hundreds. Yeah.
yeah. So,
So
I mean, with this, that's a lot. And I know a lot goes, portion of that goes to the venue, portion goes to the seller of the tickets, but
yeah, it all
still.
gets split up, right? But Taylor's not dumb.
No.
She's done legal before. She knows, she's been around the block. So
Yeah.
I know she's getting her fair portion of it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And so with that, I mean, that is just a ton of money,
Yeah.
all just in one day of
Crazy.
ticket sales.
Crazy, dude. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, so
For her.
it
That's
it's really sad that, Ticketmaster couldn't have had the capacity for this peak demand, and that it exceeded their expectations. I mean, that's okay if it exceeded their expectations, but you should be able to have the capacity or be able to make a workaround to fix that issue.
well, I wonder where's the true bottleneck here? Because isn't Ticketmaster dependent on the number of stadiums or nights that they have access to for tickets to sell or seats to sell? Or is it just whatever Ticketmaster sells, then they accommodate? I can't imagine that. There's got to be a bottleneck
Yeah.
around venue aspect.
Yeah, I would think that the venue would have to be planned for first, and there would have
Yeah.
to be an agreement for that before it goes on. Because I mean, otherwise, if that isn't in place, you could have all these sales and then nothing that it'd be tied to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm assuming, and maybe it is part of Ticketmaster that's planning it, but I'm assuming it's down to like the bottleneck is the venue. They should have
Right.
booked more venues. They should have booked multiple nights instead of a Friday, Saturday night at
Yeah.
the local venue. They did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
that's a good point. Didn't think of that for sure. So yeah, I mean, something in this whole process definitely needs to be fixed.
yeah, you're missing out on 90% of your revenue. 1.4 bought and 14 million could have.
Yeah.
You're only getting 10% revenue right there. You could have gotten 9x that. Oh
I
my god.
know that that is just so much that they missed out on.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I was a Ticketmaster, I'd be like, okay, we've got to fix this and we've got to capture every potential.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Taylor goes to her team is like, guys, book me for 2 more nights every week. Book me for 2 more nights every week on the tour. Give me a 2-day break in between. Throw those on the sale. Ticketmaster, I'm doing 2 more nights with the venues. Throw it on the table. Let's get
Yeah.
some more money. I wouldn't be surprised. Like people who bought now probably got like weekend tickets. And then so that's like the benefit of buying early is you get the weekend nights
Uh-huh.
because those are more demand, easier access, right? And then I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor adds on weeknights if she can herself perform that much. I mean, your voice has to rest, your body has to rest. That's a lot of travel. So the artist obviously has to keep that in mind. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a second release of like lower quality nights
Yeah.
that they push to the market.
I bet there would be. So
You know,
yeah.
like I kind of feel like it's like movie theater movies that push their movie to the theater a second round
Oh
because
yes.
they know there's still demand.
Yes, because they want to get that top spot and be the number one movie.
Yep.
Calling out you, Avengers Endgame.
Yep. Dude, I still can't, but it blows my mind. I still can't believe Avatar held the highest grossing
For
movie.
that long.
I saw it. I saw it like a couple years later because I was out of country. I was in the
Mhm.
Philippines, and dude, I saw it when I came home, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, this movie's cool, but it's like a Pocahontas movie. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
wasn't
see anything special here.
Yeah, it wasn't amazing.
I don't know why anyone would see that movie more than once.
Yeah, to be honest, I've only seen it once. I saw it.
Same.
I saw it in theaters right before I left for the Caribbean, and I haven't seen it since then. I haven't had the desire to.
Nope.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's cool. Blue people. Like,
yeah. I saw that
that's
movie
like
like
CGI. I get
yeah,
it. Who cares?
I saw that movie around the same time that Sherlock Holmes came out as well, and I've seen that movie multiple
Oh, with Robert
times.
Downey Jr.
Yes.
Oh, too good. That's a movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch that movie this weekend. I
Oh,
gotta watch
nice.
it now. I mean, I added it on the list just because you said it.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to watch that one and Game of Shadows. So, because you got to watch them both.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch them both. I just love when they like, yeah. And we're going off on a tangent here, but anyway, I love when he calculates. Like he
Oh
sees the
yes.
scene happen where he's like, right hook to the left jaw,
Yes.
broken jaw in 4 places, right knee to left thigh, detached from the groin hip.
Yes.
Like I just love that aspect where like goes to the different motion what he does, and all of a sudden he does it.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
does
cool.
that so quick.
Yeah. That was my impression of beating someone up.
Spot on. Spot on.
Perfect. Don't
Perfect.
mess with me. I'll beat you up.
Oh, nice. All righty. What would you like to end with tonight?
Ooh, there's a lot of good ones. I don't know. I'm good with anything. I'm good with anything. Um,
You want to talk about the lifeguard drones?
yeah. Let's talk about the lifeguard drone. I was gonna say the lifeguard drone or the chair, but
Oh,
we can do the drone.
we might have to we might have to touch on the
The
chair.
drone's short. We'll do the drone.
Yeah.
We'll do the drone really quick.
All right. So it looks like there's a trial for drones to act as lifeguards to help sea swimmers who are in trouble. So according to this kind of like little documentary, it looks like these drones can deploy multiple life-saving devices to
Yeah.
somebody who is in need to help them in their situation.
Yeah.
I
I think this is actually super cool. I don't know why this hasn't been a thing before. I don't know why we don't use drones for more innovation and more purpose, because this is a perfect example of where we need fast response immediately, quickly, and a drone has the capacity, has the speed, has the capability of delivering something to someone who's in trouble. Like send your top athletic lifeguard out into the water while he's going out there. You're buzzing from the lifeguard tower on the drone, and you drop a flotation device for the swimmer that's having trouble. They
Mhm.
grab the flotation device and they wait, right? And then the lifeguard that's running out sees the drone, so he knows exactly, or she knows exactly where to go, and they just beeline it straight to where that drone is, and they're hovering right above the person. Because I grew up next to the ocean. I've lived next to the ocean majority of my life, and even in college, I lived next to the ocean. I lived in Hawaii, and in Hawaii, lifeguards are like best of the best. Um, and I've done lifeguard training myself as a young kid. I did lifeguard training in the ocean. And when you're swimming out in the ocean, you're going up and down in the water, you're going under waves, you're like swimming as hard as you can. It's hard to see because your face is like eye level with the water, right? So any kind of wave that comes up, it blocks your vision of a straight shot. And so you're kind of lost when you're
Right.
swimming as hard as you can out there to get to someone. And so you kind of have to like bob up to like you have to like take a moment to bob up. But if I'm like beelining and the water's at my eye level, all I need to do is look up and I see the drone, and that's where I know where
Yeah,
to go.
exactly.
And so I just think this is a really cool innovation. They're testing out in the UK. Like I said, I don't know why we haven't thought of this before. And it makes me think of what other purposes can we use drones for? Can we use drones to drop fire extinguishers in homes with fires? While the firefighting team is getting all hooked up with their hoses and everything, can one of the guys just buzz up a drone that has a little bomb explosion, throw that in there, boom, goes off. Maybe you lose a drone, but like buy cheap drones. You don't have to
Yeah,
buy the top tier DJIs with the 4K cameras. You don't need a ten
right.
thousand dollar drone or $4,000 drone. buy a $200 drone. That's worth it to save like people's lives.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just
Yeah, there's so much technology with this. I think this is extremely cool and just such a great use of something to, give access, like to save somebody's life in a situation that it could potentially put another person's life in danger. I mean, if you have the lifeguard going out there, that potentially puts their life in danger, but sending out this drone to help them could mitigate that danger and
yeah.
save multiple lives at such a minimal cost.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I agree, using drones for multiple uses is such a good use of this technology. I know my company right now, they're utilizing drones to deliver medications to
Oh wow.
patients. And yeah, as a way of getting greater access to healthcare for people who don't have that access.
That's cool.
So yeah, being able to use drone technology, I think that's a huge win. And I hope this gets gets out into the rest of the world and not just in the UK. And that's something that gets utilized here in the US without being
Yeah.
too heavily regulated.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. Obviously there's always going to be concerns of like the drones hitting people and the safety and the qualifications of the pilot, the drone pilot. Yeah, there's always going to be some concerns around that. But in my mind, I think those are just mediocre blockers for a very good use case.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even with those, I think those could be easily overcome to
100%.
make this all
Yeah.
successful and a viable option.
Yep.
So
Yep.
huge
So
win.
really cool use of technology.
Yeah, huge win for the UK. Hope that it holds on.
Yeah. Good
All
job.
right.
Good job, Brits.
Yes, good job.
Founding
Yeah,
fathers. No, not founding fathers. Previous fathers.
a Hancock, good job.
Good job. There you go.
All right. So to kick us off for the evening, looks like McDonald's is revealing their grease-proof gaming chair
Let's
for
go, baby.
disgusting gamers.
That's
Oh,
me.
that just kind of gives me a little bit of a cringe. Grease on a chair. So McDonald's has come up with a hideous gaming chair called the McCrispy, which features a stain-proof leather and even a fry holster.
The McCrispy. Oh my gosh.
So, with this is just a gaming chair that has the has that stain proofing leather. So what does that mean? Grease is just going to sit on top and
Yeah. You got to wipe it off.
you got to wipe it off. I mean,
Lick
at
it
least
off, baby.
it lick it off. Yeah, at least it won't saturate the leather here. But
Ugh,
it doesn't look like we
look at
have
that
very.
design. That
Yeah, that.
design glow.
I
You even
mean,
got like a little like headrest pillow right
yeah, you
there.
got the McDonald's headrest there. You got your typical gamer colors. I don't think this is too overly flashy. Gets a little bit of how gaming chairs are and the aspect of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you've got the fry holster as well, the hot box to keep your crispy warm while gaming, according
There's
to
a
the
hot
presser.
box. Oh my gosh.
And you can store your drinks as well as two dips. So you got your drinks and
The
your
dips
dips.
is crucial. The
Yes.
dips is crucial. I am actually very impressed with that. They thought of everything. Wow. I might have to get a McCrispy.
I know you're in the market for a gaming chair now.
I am. I am. My current chair is a $25 IKEA chair that's slanted when I lean back. It's just so bad for me. So
So,
bad.
so I mean, while this seems like something that would be just off the walls and just kind of a a gimmick or a joke, this is
Yeah.
actually going to be a product and helping gamers indulge in some trashy food and don't really have to worry too much about their chair because it's going to stay grease free because the grease will just come right off.
This is gonna sell. I know it's gonna sell. Oh, my son just came into the room. I don't know. Hey, I'm on a phone call right now. Can you just go downstairs real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Can you close the door too, please? Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. No worries.
Those
Love your
my Christmas
kids.
chairs, they're gonna sell, dude. They're gonna
Yes.
sell.
Yeah, they're going to sell. I mean, especially you've got the fry holster there for a large fry. So,
Ooh. McDonald's deals. Whenever we go get our kids McDonald's,
mhm.
Nisi and I, my wife, we always get the $1 large fry in the
Oh,
McDonald's deals
yes.
app. It's so nice.
Yeah, that is a steal of a deal.
It is. It is. My kids love it too, because then there's no dad tax on their fries.
Okay, I have a question. Have you ever had the situation where you get fries and your kids or your wife says they don't want some, and then when you bring them home and you're snacking on them, they say, "Oh, I just want a few," and they just start taking them.
They take all of them.
Yes,
All of them.
it's like if you said you wanted a few, I would have bought you a few. These are mine.
A couple is two, a few is three. Now, if you want a few fries, I will give you 3 fries. 3
Yes.
fries only. No more. No more.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they usually end up taking at least half. And it's like, if I didn't love you.
Yeah, I now have to make sure that I text my wife, "Do you want McDonald's?" And if she says no, I need that in a text. I need proof. I need proof that you said no. Because when I bring it
Evidence.
home, yes, when I bring home, "Oh, I just want a few." "No, you said no. I have it right here. You said no. If you wanted a few, I would have bought you a few. These are mine."
Dude, there's I can't remember what restaurant. There's a restaurant that has like a little side menu. It's like menu for your girl or like menu for like your significant other or something like that. I can't remember. I think it was
Oh,
like
nice.
menu, like the girlfriend menu or something
The
like that.
girlfriend menu.
And it was
That's
like,
awesome.
and like all the stuff was just sides, and they were titled different things. Like, I'm not hungry. That's like one of the things. The other one was like, don't get me anything, or like, or the other one was like, I can't remember. It's super funny that they have multiple sides name different things, like the different excuses that you'll get. And then it's like, oh yeah, what do you want? What do you want, babe? It's just like, oh, I'm not hungry. It's like, okay, great. Extra fry. I want nothing. And they're like, okay, great. Extra fries on the menu. It's like
That's
they
awesome.
they keep you hooked up. I'll have to look up what
Yeah,
restaurant it was.
you'll have to let me know because I want to go there now.
Yeah, smart place to go.
Yeah. However, yeah, I think this chair, like you said, is going to sell, and it it's going to be a huge hit.
Yeah, I think it is. I really like when companies go out of their way to produce a product that's not within their market, but it plays to who their audience is,
Mhm.
right? So another company that does a lot is Microsoft.
I was just
Um,
going to say that.
yeah, so everyone made fun of the new Xbox Series X because it looks like a fridge.
Yeah,
And so what do? They
they
made
made
a
a
mini
fridge,
fridge. Yeah.
and they
And
made
I
a
bought it.
full size fridge too.
I did. Oh yeah. I forgot about the full size one. Oh my gosh. They didn't sell that though
No,
widely.
they just said that
Like it was like
that was for
Snoop Dogg.
marketing, yeah, for their
Yeah.
YouTubers that got
Dude,
to
I
do the
can't believe
review.
that. But yeah, I have I have a mini fridge that looks just like my Xbox. And so that's the stuff that I love, where they identify who their consumer is and they're like, listen, this is our consumer. What else is the majority of our consumer doing that we can maybe cater to and have like a little play here, a little fun
Yeah,
here? I love when companies do that. You know, to me, it shows that they really care about their consumer, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. They're looking out for their interests and
Yeah,
looking just beyond their target and really finding what their customers like and building something that is going to help that.
for sure.
I think that's a huge win. So
Yeah,
The McCrispy, as interesting as it sounds, I think this is a win.
yeah, I
And
think so too.
I think we should get some, we got to do a review on the McCrispy.
Show it off on the channel.
Yes, show it off on the channel here.
Dude, I would love to do that. That'd be so good. Business
So
expense. There you
yeah,
go. Write it
business
off.
expense, write it off. That's it's pretty much free at that point.
Yep. Pretty much.
So
It's a write-off.
yeah, it's a write-off. Yeah. It reminds me of a Seinfeld. You don't even know what a write-off is. Yeah, I do. And they're the ones writing it off.
That's so funny because they redid the same joke in the show Schitt's Creek.
Oh,
The son like buys a new lamp for his
uh-huh.
desk, and his dad's like, "Where'd you get that lamp?" And he's like, "Oh, I bought it for the business." And he's like, "It's in your bedroom." And he's like, "Yeah, it's a write-off, Dad. I don't have to worry about it." And he's like, "Who writes it off?" And he's like, "I don't know. They write it off. Someone, the government, I don't know." And he's like, "You don't know what a write-off is."
Oh,
I think
that's
that's
awesome.
funny that they took it from Seinfeld, though. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Schitt's Creek now.
Oh, it's funny, man.
Okay,
There's a lot of language, but it's funny.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a good show. We like it a lot, at least. So,
Okay, good recommendation. I appreciate that. Thanks.
yeah. Anyway,
All right. Well, that's all of our show for tonight. Thank you for sticking around with us and listening to us. Make sure you like this video if you liked it. And if you disliked it, I think that other button works all right too. Send it to somebody you dislike. And as always, subscribe so you don't miss out on anything, and make sure you ringling that dingling button so you don't miss out on important notifications as they come
right.
through. We'll be releasing our videos as soon as we can. So as always, stay classy. We'll see you in the next one, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody.
Peace.
Take care.